Hi guys! In this guide, we're going to be explaining what levels are and talking about some of the best ways to level up your character. If there's any mistakes or points that I missed, please let me know in the comments. As usual, we're all constantly learning how the game works, so let's make sure to be friendly with one another. Leveling up has been mixed around a lot throughout the years, so some of the information may look similar to methods from recent years, while some methods may be outdated and kept out altogether. When you're just starting out in Mabinogi, you might immediately be confused by the way that levels work. The game has two different types of level. Our players like to call them current level and total level, respectively. I don't personally see people using the term cumulative level, but if you ever do see this, it's also a different term for total level. Your current level can be found by looking at the bottom of your screen next to your HP, MP, and stamina counter, while your total level can be found by clicking on the magnifying glass, also at the bottom of your screen, pressing Character Info, selecting the Additional Info tab, and looking at the level number to the left of the Rebirth button. Pressing the C key if you still have basic hotkey settings can get you to the Character Info screen faster than clicking through the tabs at the bottom. Current levels are named as they are due to it being the amount of levels you've gained within your current Rebirth count. Let me explain because that sounds confusing. You can do this thing called Rebirth many times during your time playing, and every time you do this you have the option to refresh your current level to 1 like it was when you first created your character. When you level up through fighting mobs, doing quests, or whatever way you get EXP, it'll go towards your current level which caps at level 200. You'll then want a Rebirth so that count goes back to 1 and you can do it again. The reason we want to do this over and over again is total levels. Total levels are a tally of how many current levels you've gained over all your rebirths and are important for bonus stats, gaining AP, training skills, arcanas, and more. In some cases, players have been able to get their total level to an insane number too. Going even deeper into why leveling up will matter, just take a look at the stats on this level 1 character versus the stats it has when it reaches current level 200. It's a big difference. Your passive skill called Shine of Uweka will give you bonus stats depending on both your current level and total level. The bonus stats that come from your current level will cap at 200 and reset when you rebirth, while the bonus stats that come from your total level stick and cap at level 40k. With every single level up, you'll also receive 1 AP, or more if you've got boosts going, which go towards ranking up skills, thus making your character stronger in general. Later on, you'll likely obtain some form of transformation, Paladin, Dark Knight, Falcon, and Beast, which benefits off of the amount of times you rebirth by lengthening the time you can stay transformed. Lastly, Arcanas are something fairly new yet important in this game, and the only way to level those up is by leveling your character up. After reaching a total level of 20k and grandmastering some prerequisite talents, you'll get what is basically a mixture of those two talents in one. So you know, super important and strong. Giving yourself EXP boosts is a big help if you're looking to level up as easy and fast as possible. I'm going to be categorizing the types of boosts for you, but don't worry if you don't have all of these, as even just using what you have available to you currently can help you drastically. Starting with clothing boosts, we have the branches of the Mabinogi outfit which gives a 20% boost to combat EXP. We also have a robe called the Festival Souvenir Hebena robe which gives a 10% boost to combat EXP. In your accessory slot, you'll want to use and activate either a Pisces or Taurus balloon which both boost EXP by ×2. These items are from past events or gachas, so may not be available outside of purchasing off of the auction house, but all you need to do is wear them in your gear tab. If there are any outfits brought into the game after this video goes out with a similar effect, make sure to grab them. Next, for the character and account self-boosts, we've got the Grandmaster Cleric talent which we'll want to activate for its unique 100% EXP boost effect. You can get this by training skills classified under Cleric on the Talents window and passing Grandmaster missions from the NPC in Terra named Lazaro. If you happen to have Combat or Combination VIP, you're going to automatically get an EXP bonus of 20%. These can be purchased either for an X in the cash shop or for gold on the auction house. Using the Receiver of Now's Blessing title for 1.5 to 2 times EXP, or any active event titles that give a similar effect can help as well. The Now title specifically comes from past events and gachas, but can be bought off the auction house. Under the G20 Crusader Skills tab will be Enlightened Vision, which can boost your EXP by up to 45% if Divine Linked to a pet. You can receive this skill by also receiving Divine Link during the completion of the main storyline's Generation 20. An event to watch out for would be Master Plan, which usually runs every summer and winter and gives a huge array of different EXP boosts depending on what Nexon decides to give us. Make sure to keep an eye out on the front page of Mabinogi's official website for news and information on these events. I'm giving doll bags their own category because there's quite a few of them. Beginners and free players will want to summon their baby bunny, bear cub, and fennec fox kit dolls as a trio that they received from Blanid for the 10% EXP boost. Folam and Irasan doll bag gives a 2% boost. Fern doll bag gives a 4% boost. Bater and Muriel doll bag, Agurna and Cowman doll bag, Morphidrianus and Talik doll bag, Northern White-Faced Owl and Eurasian Eagle Owl doll bag, Serval and Caracal doll bag, Fodla and Deerbile doll bag, Fodla and Treasure Hunter doll bag, and Deerbile and Piran doll bag gives a 9% boost. Pine Caswin and Llewellyn doll bag, Talvish, Avalon and Altum doll bag, Kethlin and Vane doll bag, and Marliad and Piran doll bag gives a 10% boost. Cromboss Cast doll bag gives a 12% boost. And Freerin, Fern, and Stark doll bag gives a 13% boost. Any that are missing can be posted in the comments, but that pretty much sums it up. Most or all of these boxes were released in events or gachas and can usually be purchased off the auction house for varying prices. It's also good to note that if you solely want to use EXP bags during the times where you're leveling up, there's always the option to store them in one of your bank tabs afterwards. Now we're going to head into the consumable and extras category. Most of these are timed. Combat EXP potions of varying qualities, ×2, ×3, ×4, or ×5 EXP for Royal, have long been one of the mainstays. Most of these can be obtained through events and sales from past and present, but can usually be bought off the auction house as well. Prisms are obtained the same way as combat EXP potions, and you'll only want to use the yellow one for its double combat EXP boost. Empty prisms can be used or activated and converted into a completed prism by obtaining combat EXP until its bar completely fills. Remember to check back on that bar so you can press the button to convert it. Obtained through past sales is an item called Elixir of Happiness, which gives you a ×3 combat EXP boost and can be purchased through the auction house. Golden experience fruits can be used to immediately gain levels depending on the quality within its name, and usually pops up in tons of events for free. One of the methods we'll be talking about in the next section of this video includes the elite version of the Baltane mission called Nowhere to Run. You'll want to stock up on the item called Baltane Mission Elite Pass, Nowhere to Run, and Baltane Mission Crystals if you plan on using it. Baltane Mission Elite Passes can be obtained through events, the Dungeon Guide shop, and through normal difficulty Baltane missions. As for the crystals, they're similar to combat EXP potions in the way that there are varying qualities, ×1.5, ×2, or ×3 EXP, and should be used before you enter a Baltane mission. You can find these in Avalon Gate at NPC Shuon's shop, as a drop by some Baltane mobs, through Albin reward boxes, events, gachas, or off the auction house. Another method we'll be using will include the use of Avon crystals, which give up to a 360% EXP boost for completing theater or chronicle missions. These can be obtained through the auction house as they were originally released in previous gachas. The last extra boost we'll talk about comes from the Japari bus pet, which was part of a limited collaboration with Kimono Friends. All players who are riding the bus will gain a 100% boost, making this a great choice for players who are leveling up in a party. On rare occasions, you can still find this pet for sale on the auction house. Get your Rebirth and Forgetful potions ready, because it's time to talk about the multiple methods we can use to increase in levels. I won't be listing these in any specific order of best to worst, or vice versa, and there will be multiple methods with differing difficulties. Choose what works for you! Remember to keep in mind that some of these methods also require specific items as stated in the last chapter, or just have general restrictions based on how far your character has progressed in the game. Also, don't forget, use your EXP boosts! Beginners who are just starting out will find great use out of doing their Blanid missions, which can be started by completing the regular beginner quests up to Strange Signs. Once you see a quest called A Blue Fragrance on the Wind, you'll simply follow that. During these memoir quests, you'll learn a lot about the game in different ways, including how to rebirth. Doing these quests will automatically boost your total levels and can get you to a total of 20k quickly. You don't need to use any EXP boosts for this method. At some point when starting a character, it may even be right away, but correct me if I'm wrong, you'll receive an item called Albin Knight's Baltane Letter of Recommendation. Use this item to create an Albin Knight's Baltane special unit and gain the ability to enter Avalon Gate through your character info window. With this new area, you'll unlock even more content. This includes Baltane missions, which is what we'll need for this method. When your character is at least current level 60, you'll want to enter an elite difficulty of the mission called Nowhere to Run at NPC Shuon, where you'll fight enemies continuously until the time runs out. Currently, there are some caps on how far into your current levels you can get to, so make sure to watch and see if you're still gaining any EXP towards the next level. In some occasions, you'll have the chance to get your current level to its cap of 200, usually during events or with VIP, however most of the time it'll be 150. When you reach the available cap for this mission, you can either use a different method to get to 200 if it didn't allow past 150, or forget the cap, rebirth, and go in once again at level 60. Albi Advanced Hard Mode and Rundle Advanced Hard Mode dungeons can be found within your dungeon guide under the Celtic symbol button at the bottom of your screen. When you grind through these dungeons, it's recommended that you equip a support puppet that shows you which orbs to hit when you come across those rooms. By hitting the buttons that don't spark, you're spawning more mobs to get EXP off of. When you hit your current level cap of 200, you'll use a Rebirth or Forgetful Potion, rinse, and repeat. Via recommendation from our fellow highest level player Plus, Chronicle missions are a fairly good way to start your leveling journey of the week. If you've completed the storylines Generation 12 and Guide Quest Encore for an Empty Theater, you'll have access to 5 Chronicle runs a week, with some events raising the cap slightly. When using higher quality Avon crystals, the completion of one mission can easily grant you current level 200. Continue by using a Rebirth or Forgetful Potion until you've finished up your weekly amount of runs. Seen as one of the best ways currently to level up is running only the first room of the Tech-to-Win mission called Awakened Abyssal Lord, or Kraken, as most players call it. After completing the storylines Generation 23 and the quest called Ascent to the Throne, you'll receive access to this mission within Tech-to-Win. In this method, you'll defeat all mobs that spawn after hitting one of the crystal, statue, things, or whatever they are. Once each set of mobs is defeated, you'll go to the next crystal statue and do the same thing until you run out. Running out of statues to hit and mobs to defeat means you'll want to exit the mission using the button in the top right of your window and re-enter. Keep doing this until you're ready to rebirth or use a Forgetful Potion. Once again, for any beginners who aren't quite ready for the aforementioned methods, you'll always have access to our regular ULOD dungeons such as Albi, Math, Rabbi, Rundle, Bari, Coil, Phiode, and any that I might be forgetting. Hard mode is not required as I'm sure there's still a good amount of enemies that spawn, therefore giving you at least a decent chunk of EXP anyway. You can find any of these by either manually traveling to them or using the dungeon guide under the Celtic symbol button at the bottom of your screen. Before we end the video, I'd like to give a major thank you to my friends Annie and Plus for giving me insight on some of the ways they like to level up, and also for doing some proofreading for me. It's, as a quick reminder, incredibly important to level up in Mabinogi to be able to achieve a stronger character with bonus stats, AP, skills, arcanas, and I'm sure much more than that. Once again, if there are any mistakes or additional info you'd like to bring up, please do so in the comments so it might become an open conversation. If this guide was helpful to you, make sure to check out my other guides. Thanks for watching, and goodbye!